Hi, everyone. This is Marilyn Bradford, and I would like to welcome you to my Left Turn podcast. What is your left turn? Writing a blog, parenting in a different way, letting go of the old because you are aware of something greater. Left turns are choices we can all make. It's about a willingness to step into the unknown in any area of your life, to trust yourself, to risk creating or trying something new. It's about letting your true uniqueness shine. The greatest people who have lived, artists, statesmen, writers, explorers, musicians, have all been people willing to turn left. What capacities do you have that you have not acknowledged? What would your life and the world be like if you were willing to turn left? Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Left Turn podcast. My guest today, Elena Blanco, is an amazing entrepreneur, adventurer, creator, and I'm so glad she's joining us today because I know she's taken a lot of left turns. I'll just say a little bit about her. She's a Mexican international speaker and author. Her work experience includes several leadership positions in the Mexican government and international companies like Apple, and I don't even know what Novartis is, but that I've seen that name before. Anyway, she's been there, done it. She's a certified coach and access facilitator of access consciousness. In addition, this is amazing. She went from having a debt of more than $350,000 10 years ago to no debt and creating a flourishing real estate business that is currently expanding between Mexico and the United States. Welcome, welcome, Elena.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Marilyn. It's an honor to be here with you today. And just for you to know, Novartis is a drug pharma company.
Okay. I've seen the name. It's just like
Sure, in the TV all the time.
Yeah. Thank you for that information. So I know you've made a lot of left turns in your life. What are some of the ones, the biggest ones, or the most challenging ones, or were they easy? Just take it away, Elena.
So the first very challenging one I had is when I got divorced.
Oh, yes.
I was like, the good girl that goes to school, finishes the master's, gets married, gets a kid, gets to work. And suddenly it was like, and now?
I love the facial expression.
It's funny because you say like you get born, you grow up, you reproduce, and then you die. And it was literally that. Like, hey, I reproduced, and now I have to die.
Wow.
So I didn't. I started to see like I was withering like a flower.
Yeah.
And one of the reasons is I was doing things that had nothing to do with me. I was like the wife of this person.
Yes.
That had a form of living life that was totally different from what I wanted. So one day and of course it took a lot of courage and a lot of determination, because what I wanted is for him to be the bad guy, and I was the good girl. Or he could die. Those were like the two options.
Yeah.
Because then we could both be good.
Yeah.
Until one day I decided to just be the bad one. Mm-hmm. Because of course, divorcing someone without a terrible thing is something only bad people do.
Right. So, and I would think that would be particularly true in the Mexican culture.
Totally.
Yeah.
Like he asked me, like, why are you divorcing me? I'm like, you haven't never caught me cheating. I have never like beaten you. Why? Sorry. But it was really a left turn because it like nobody agreed. Like his family could not believe it. He could not believe it. My family could not believe it. But the change was so big in our lives. My son's life, my life after that really it created a whole new world for me.
How did it change?
So the first thing is I started asking myself what I wanted for the
Yes.
first time in my life, instead of just complying and uh, fulfilling needs. I was like, what do I want? Like very small things that were so important, like going to the gym or not because I wanted, or
Yes.
watching TV or not because I wanted, and not because it's you have to, no, entertain. You have to.
Yeah.
And also with my kid, the first moment I was like, "You want to come?" He was 8 years old at the time. I said, "You can come with me. You can stay with your father. Whatever you want. I don't care. I just need to do this because if not, I will die."
Right.
In Access, we have this tool that is, how will my life be in 10 years?
Yeah.
And I think that's the thing that gave me the strength. I was not even in Access then, but this tool just happened because happened.
You chose it.
Yeah, that, like, this question appeared in my life because he at the time he was a congressman in Mexico.
Uh-huh.
And he was like, well, in 10 years I will be a governor and I will do all these things. And I was like, okay, what am I going to do in 10 years? And
Yes.
it was like, I will be there. If I'm staying here, I will be there without
Yeah.
a doubt. So I was like, no, not yet. I'm too young. This was, oh my God, so long ago, maybe 20 years ago.
Wow.
So I'm not there yet.
I noticed.
And in Mexico, being a divorced woman is a very complicated thing. It's not, you're the, you become the enemy for your friends because you can take their husband.
Oh, wow.
You become the cast out in the family because they don't know what to do with you. Like, it's very weird. Now it's so different, but 20 years ago, it was really, really uh, a brave thing to do.
Yes. Yes, I get that energy. It was an incredibly brave thing to do.
Yeah. My mother, she was like, are you sure? And then I started things that I was already doing but didn't get. Like, for example, my first question was, who's going to help me when I don't make enough money? And it was like, I've been paying for everything for 4 or 5 years because he's been
Oh,
doing the politics. What is the difference?
you don't have to support another person.
Yeah, it was so weird. Like, I had this mentality of victim, even if I was not a victim.
Yes.
I had this mentality of, even maybe they will need me even if they don't like me, no. Like, it was so weird. And then I started changing everything and I found Access Consciousness. That was a whole different left turn.
Yes.
At the moment I had lots of debt. I owed my house, I owed the car, I owed that, because I was like, you have to pretend, no, like, you're a strong woman, and you can, and of course I had to have everything a strong woman had to have. Her own car, her own Louis Vuitton, their own house, and their own very secret debt.
Yes.
Everything was on monthly payments, no. And I started listening to the money. I actually went to a class, an intro class about money. And this amazing lady, Carrie Glassell, she told me, oh, just see how much you owe. And then in 2 years, divide it. And then you add that and you ask for the money. I was like, no, no, no. My problem is in 15 days, I have to pay the credit card. Fix it for me now.
Yeah.
I found this class maybe 3 years ago and I was laughing at myself. I was like, oh my God, I was so clueless. But I did what she asked me to, and it changed. It totally changed. And in 3 years, I had paid the car and the house, and I didn't have any more credit card debt. And I started having money, and it was so weird.
Wow.
Yeah. So I just kept on going, and then the last very important left turn, it was in 2019 December, just 5 years ago. I was in these high ranking employments. And it was like, I want to do something for myself. Do you know this saying, if not now, when? And if not you, who?
Yeah.
If not me, who? So I just quit. And everybody was, oh my God, when I got divorced, they couldn't understand it.
Yes.
How on earth do you leave an executive position in a company like Apple for talking about what? With whom? You're going to do what? Teach bars? What is that? You're crazy. You're going to finish up in the street with no money. Crazy people, or in the crazy cows. No?
Crazy cows. Yes.
And then with the 2020 pandemic, I actually thought they were right. For like a month.
Yes.
It was like, oh God. But no, I am not living. I am not currently living under a bridge.
I noticed.
I still have, and now I have a very nice real estate business. I have properties in Mexico and in the US, and I'm still doing access as a business.
Wonderful. How did you get into real estate?
Oh, that's my family. My mother found a building that was, the owners were elderly people that died, and the heirs were selling the whole building with the people inside. They were having problems. They were not paying rent and ever. But the price was amazing. It was the whole building for the price of one apartment.
Wow.
And we were like, it's totally worth it. Would you just have to follow the judgment, how do you call it? The procedure, like legal procedure to get them out. It takes about 2 years, and then remodel, and then no. So we did that. I took all my savings, not all, but many of my savings, and we bought it, and we took a whole long route about going to court and doing all the eviction. And then we remodeled and rented.
That's amazing. You just keep going forward. Well, yeah, let's do this. Let's do this. Let's do this. I love it. And
then we found another one. And then like we have been finding, because it's a very interesting, like slow way, but it's so fantastic.
Yeah.
Because you find the worst, how do you call it? The worst house in a very nice neighborhood.
Yes.
And then you just get it elevated. And it's a very, very good business in Mexico, at least. In the US, I'm looking at it. And I started with my first property, and now it's rented. So we'll see. Yeah. And I also did the same thing. I did some upgrades. I did like the garden, for it has to sprinkles and sprinklers. You know, these small things that really make people value them. Yes. So you seem very smart about it all. I always, my two grandmothers, what they did, they came to Mexico during the Spanish War. And they came with, one had $100, and the other one had a letter from her family that they would give her to live for a month. So they just had to. They had to hustle. Yeah. And both of them built a building and started to rent the apartments, like having for the retirement, no? Like a retirement plan. Yeah. And that is something like I just saw during my whole life. Like, you can fix things, you can keep things nice, and people will come and will like to live with you. Yes. So I just took it a little bit further. But that's taking a lot of initiative. Oh, yeah. There you go. That divorced single woman making lots of money, creating greater. I love it. Yeah. And it is, yeah, sometimes it's not. It sounds like much easier than it really is. Yes, I do. Especially, yeah. Because sometimes things don't work as you would like them to, no? Sometimes you have great ideas and they don't work, and then it's all the money, and then you learn. It's like a very expensive master's degree.
Yes, exactly. Oops. But that's part of it all. And you just keep going. And that's the thing. That's one of the things that I just think is amazing about you. So many other people would have quit. They have this idea, if it's not easy, if I have a, a pushback or this or that, well, you're like, no, I'm going forward.
Yeah. What next?
What next?
Yeah. And it's funny because in my house, like I had about the money, there are like these two very distinct ways of thinking about it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like you have to keep the money, and the other one that is like it's only money.
Yeah.
So I've been balancing into both of them to see what works for me, because sometimes it's only money, like, and sometimes it's like it's only money, but
yes. But I've got this huge bill here.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
And one thing I have like helped me so much is I was so addicted to drama.
Uh-huh. That's a very Latino
that
thing.
Telenovela.
A telenovela, absolutely.
I used to have drama about so many things, and then I found the Right Recovery for You tools. And and that has changed so much, because then just asking the questions and being present and knowing it's only drama.
Yeah.
You can actually like be much more clear about what are the options, what will your life be. You don't have to focus on to this not working instead of what else.
Yeah. What else is possible? If you could give wisdom, advice, whatever you want to call it, to people who are like, how do you find that energy? How do you just go forward? Or what would you say to people?
Oh, I would say do it anyway. Like you can be afraid, you can have no energy, you can feel bad, you can do it anyway. Like the first person that I don't know, like flew off an airplane with a parachute, I'm sure he was afraid.
Yes,
he did it anyway. He did it anyway. And the first person that conquered a mountain, or the first person that tried a mushroom to see if it was edible or not, I'm sure they were afraid, or they didn't feel it was like the greatest idea of them all, but they did it anyway.
I love that. That's really great. Thank you so much, Elena. It was just a pleasure speaking with you.
Thank you so much for inviting me, Marlene. It's an honor to be here, and thank you for everything I've received from you in my life. You really changed my life so much.
Wow. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much for joining this episode of Left Turn. I wonder what embracing left turns could create in your life. What magical possibilities might show up. Remember, when you choose left turns, you are joining a group of the most creative and brilliant people the world has ever known.